few things
Thank
I
you
gotta ask you.
First, thank you for coming today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for being alive.
And when do you? Oh, you're so sweet.
Having that show, it's amazing show. I gotta say that.
Thank you.
And I gotta ask you, first one, the biggest mess you faced with in your show, and how did you handle it?
Oh, well, I was just actually talking about it. I had this bride that she only had a few weeks to get a dress. So we had to get her something in a very short amount of time. So that really limits the number of dresses because we can't order it. And then she had a certain budget. And her entire entourage were pulling in dresses that were way above her budget. But even if she could afford them, we couldn't get them on time.
Oh my God.
So I had to, politely as I could, ask them, please, I'm going to offer you to go sit back on the sofa. Okay. And I wanted to say, get your ass out of the room and go sit on the sofa, but I didn't. But I literally felt, when the camera was pointed at me, I literally felt like steam was coming out of my ears and my face was red. I was so angry because they were wasting her time. I wanted to find her a dress and they were standing in the way of that happening.
So, can you hide when you're nervous or when you're feeling bad?
You know, it's interesting because when I saw the footage, I thought, gosh, you looked awfully calm for the way you were feeling.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
That's a profession.
There was another time when I had a father come in and he had his daughter and his fiance both searching for wedding dresses. And every time his fiance came out, he was like, oh, honey, oh, baby, you're so sexy. I can't wait for the honeymoon. Oh, let's just skip the wedding. And every time his daughter walked out, it was like, oh, that's pretty. And this happened the entire appointment. And finally, the daughter stood there and she goes, Daddy, what about me? And I thought, how stupid. Oh, he didn't even get it. I thought, how stupid and unfeeling is this guy? Could he be? And when she came in for her fitting appointment, when her gown came in, she had a breast implants. Okay. I think because she felt so insecure about who she was. And by the way, she was a pageant queen. She was beautiful. And I think her father had given her so low self-esteem that she had to do something. And I think it was horrible. It really, I thought it was really horrible.
Like that.
Yeah.
So, three biggest mistake in picking up a dress. Is it bringing along a fiance? Included, no?
No, I think that sometimes, let's say, let's say you grew up in New York and your fiance grew up in California, but you both met in Chicago and went to school and you've been together for 10 years, and now it's time to find a wedding dress. Well, your mother remembers that little 18-year-old girl, okay, that wants to be a princess, but now your fiance knows, well, you're a woman and you want something a little, that's more womanly. So he might know your style better than your mother.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. But a guy that comes in and says, oh, I just want her to look sexy. Well, that's called the honeymoon. Okay? This is a religious experience or whatever. It's tradition. It's about family. Let's keep it, let's keep it proper.
So what are the three biggest mistakes?
Oh, three biggest mistakes.
Yeah.
I think that, number one, you should always, always, always choose the dress that makes you feel the most beautiful. When you feel beautiful, honey, it shows and everyone knows it. It's about how you wear that dress because you feel beautiful. Number two, you absolutely need to have a budget. You need to know. Now, a wedding budget. Okay, so much for the dress, so much for the flowers, so much for the cake, the music, the limo, the venue, everything. Now, what's most important to you? That's where, let's say the dress is a little more. Well, is that dress more? Then let's make the bouquets a little smaller. Or let's cut out some of the guest list. Or maybe let's get rid of the 18-piece band and let's get a DJ. Whatever, what's most important to you? Yeah. And the third mistake, gosh, I don't know. If I could, I think choosing a dress that you really don't love, that you're trying to please others, that you're trying to please others. Yeah, that you're trying to please others. I think that is your moment in the spotlight. That is your day, and you deserve to be happy. And pictures are going to be taken of you by everyone, and you want to feel beautiful. And it's kind of like when Pippa walked down the aisle at Kate Middleton's wedding, and everyone said, "Oh my gosh, she looks so sexy." What was Kate thinking? Yeah. It tells me Kate says, I feel confident as a bride. I'm a woman. I know who I am. I'm marrying a prince. I'm happy. I love my sister. I want her to feel beautiful in her dress too.
That's why she looked like that.
And she's got a great body, so why not show it off? And maybe in the back of her mind, she's thinking, you know what? I hooked up with the prince. Maybe she'll get lucky at the wedding.
Okay, so this is incredible. I wanted to ask you, who was a better bride, by your opinion, Princess Diana or Kate Middleton?
Kate Middleton.
Why?
Because the 80s was the worst decade of fashion ever. And we should just forget about it. I can describe you every single wedding dress from the 80s. Big puffy sleeves, high neck, basque waist, gathered skirt, long train, and lots of appliques of lace and pearls and crystals everywhere. That covers just about every single dress from the 80s.
Okay.
We should just forget about the 80s. It was gone. Princess Diana, her bouquet weighed like, I think it weighed like 5 pounds, she said. It dragged all the way to the floor. If you look at Kate, by the way, they both wore the same thing. They both had tiaras, they both had sleeves, they both had ball gowns, they both had bouquets, they both had jewelry.
They were
but
totally different.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Because Kate's was all about silhouette and proportion. Those 2 words are the most important words I can give any bride. Keep it about, if you're, have a bigger silhouette, then you can do a bigger pattern or bigger lace or bigger, accessories. If you're more petite and have, delicate bone structure, then maybe more delicate beading and finer fabrics and more, delicate, whatever.
That's
accessories.
That's it. And something else, what do you think about Cinderella? What kind of bride she was to you?
It's a fairy tale.
It
I think that it's great. I think that Cinderella is a fairy tale, and I think a lot of brides think about their wedding and their marriage as a fairy tale, and they spend all this time on their wedding, and I wish they would spend that much time on their marriage.
Okay.
And if they spend as much time on their marriage as they did on their wedding, they'd probably be married a lot longer.
Okay, and nobody knows what happened with Cinderella after.
No, they don't.
So-
Exactly.
This will be the last one.
Okay, the last one is, what do you consider as the most bizarre bride wish?
I had a bride that came in once during a sample sale, and she was a flamethrower, and she said that she was going to come down the aisle with flames coming out of her hair. And I still can't even comprehend this, but that was one of the most bizarre. The other, I would say another bizarre request was one that came in and said she wanted fairy wings on the back of her dress. But she's actually in my book. Okay. And she looks beautiful. We got her this dress that looked like she walked out of the forest, and the wings are beautiful. And her story, and I always talk about the story, if you heard me earlier, it's about her story. Her and her fiance met working at Archie Comics, and they're all into this fantasy world, so they wanted this fantasy fairy tale wedding, and she pulled it off beautifully. And if you look at my book, there's a picture of her, and it's gorgeous because she stuck to her story and true to who she was, and she felt beautiful, and it showed.
I'm gonna find her.
Okay.